Good morning, everyone. That was for Harvest. I mean, Harvest is dead. That was for Sparrow. Just up there, so she has more water. We're getting organized here. Today is Monday, November 29th, and I'm hoping that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. And if you're in Canada, I hope last month it was wonderful for you. We had an incredible time. Every other year, we switch off with the kids' families. So this year was our free Thanksgiving. And so we took off up to Mendocino with dear friends, Robin and Andy, and we stayed at a place called A Gate. I don't know if is it a gate or a agate? Agate. I call it a gate. Agate Cove. This is where we stayed. This basically was the view from our bed. It is just absolutely spectacular. It's up in, hey Barbara, Mendocino, California. And if you have never been to Mendocino, California, put it on your bucket list. It's in there with Door County, Wisconsin. It's it's a heck of a ride to get up there. But once you get up there, you are in a land of magical. And we have gone when the kids were little, we would go up every year with my mom and dad and rent a place in Casper. But now we go and we bombard Brooks and Dara and come to their house and eat. And it's so funny because I'm realizing as I get older, perhaps I'm a little too bold. I asked Dara if we could come, I don't know, 6 years ago or whatever. And then as I ask her if we can come, I say, but this is what you're going to serve. Basically, I do not want to descend on anybody and have them have to fix a turkey. The last time I baked a turkey, I sat down at the table and felt like I might get ill just because it's so much. I mean, for all of you that have prepared Thanksgivings, you know what I'm talking about. So, our fare is a charcuterie tray, beautiful steaks, baked potatoes, and this time it was spinach from the garden of Brooks. So it was just fabulous. So we go up on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, Thanksgiving, we don't go to Dara's until and Brooks till like 3 or 4. So we went to Glass Beach. I've never ever been to Glass Beach. It is north of Fort Bragg. Well, actually, I think it's in Fort Bragg. And what was so cool is when we were there, there were people everywhere, everywhere. And so I believe it's called Glass Beach because there was a dump or something out there at one point, and then the glass all gets tumbled from bottles and this and that, and it comes to shore. Unfortunately, not many of them were real big pieces, but it was fun. And then the other thing was I found a shovel in the shape, I wish I'd taken a picture, in the shape of an Indian oh, it was arrowhead or whatever. And then it had a stem and it had a little handle. And I went up to this little kid and I asked permission, of course. And I said, hey, I have an Indian arrowhead. Do you want it? And the kid's like, yeah. And so I handed him the shovel. And the mom was even like, yeah. And then I handed the shovel as a toy. The kid just almost lost it. He was so excited. Why I didn't get a picture, I don't know. But what then another thing that happened at Glass Beach was I looked down in the sand and I saw this. Thank you. I have to say, people, and I don't want to get too much into it, but it has been a really rough 8 years. And I know a lot of you have had really rough times. And it was the first time I went, I feel normal. It just feels right and it just feels normal. So I was ever so grateful for that. Another thing, other than I'll invite you to your house, I'll invite myself to your house and tell you what to have for dinner. We're kind of trying to decide when Sparrow goes bye-bye, are we going to get a dog or are we going to get a cat? Don't tell Sparrow, okay? But we're just starting to think about it. And so on Glass Beach, I met this couple and they had an old dog and they had a baby dog. And I asked if I could hold their baby dog. And of course I asked them if it smelled first, which and Andy couldn't believe. But there's a baby dog that I held. And then it became my mission to hold every dog that was about the right size. Now, understanding this dog's going to turn into a monster. So, may I hold your dog? Does it smell? Because I can't have a dog that sheds or smell if I go down that. There's another one. But this last picture, oh, where are we in the lineup? Oh, here we go. This last picture, just when I look at it now, that dog was not happy. Not at all. Like, Mom, why would you do this to me? So the other thing that happened was I have been looking for, and we'll get to the interview real soon with Kestrel, a chandelier for in my sewing room for between the office and the office and the space in here. And we walked into a place in Fort Bragg, and there it was. Robin goes, look up. So I looked up and I said, is this for sale? And she said, yes. She said, I have one in a box. And I said, do we get any sort of discount? And she said, 10% Black Friday. Sold. Okay. So Robin and I went shopping, and we sent the boys to pick up the chandelier between 4 and 5. And needless to say, the box was this big by this big by, like this. And this is what I want for Christmas. I've been wanting this. And the car was stuffed when we went there. So, but after being strategic about packing up, like putting underwear in the refrigerator, freezer box, like throwing away a suitcase, look, we even had room for a banana. Oh, we had such good times. Okay, now it's time for a little bit of an ad. Right now, I think this is through the end of the month, okay? They have got a really great deal going on. And basically, if you buy a Bernina over 3,000, you can get 6-month no interests, okay? But I mean, this is like, it's almost over. And remember that if you do get something over 1,000, I can still send you this card. It'll get you $100 off from Bernina USA. They just send you a check. But in all full disclosure, I have to have influenced you. It can't just be, hey, did you hear Alex does XYZ? No, it has to be from me influencing you with the purchase. And then one other sale I just want to say too is we've got 20, this is the last day, just about 20% off everything in the store. Cyber 21 at checkout. Of course, that's at thequiltshow.com. So I got some imagery from people, and let's take a look. I love show and tell. This is from Christine. Let's see what we have here. Oh, Christine, you sent me this quite a while back, and it got lost in the shuffle. This is her Stars for a New Day, which was our block of the month. I don't remember what year it was. She did it in her own fabrics, and it's absolutely exquisite. And I think she snapped up some ribbons, if I remember correctly. And this is, okay, then on Friday, I got this in our newsletter at the TQS 2009, John just said. It doesn't matter. You can't get it. Well, you can get it from Sue's family and pay, whatever for it. That's why you want to take advantage of our block in the months. Because when you're a member, this is next year's, you get it for free, the pattern, okay? And remember, to be a member of the Quilt Show's $49 a year, and you have access to everything. But this is, okay, so Friday, this came out in the newsletter, and I've gotten pretty jaded about quilts, but this was from a gal in Japan, and it's Aki's, and oh my gosh. I don't know who took this picture. I don't know. Justin grabbed this. Well, it wasn't us at PIQF, and Justin was at Houston, and I know it snapped up ribbons, but oh my gosh, okay? So the fact that somebody from Japan did this just takes my breath away. Let me see if I can blow it up a little bit. Nah, I can't. Okay, and then Evelyn sent me a video if you go to Facebook, from Sweet Home Quilting, and she's doing our current. Sorry, Evelyn, I tried to grab a really good snap, but she's doing this year's Color My World with Wendy Williams, this year's block of the month, and she's doing it in cherrywood fabric. So I know those girls from Cherrywood are really going to want to see this. This is absolutely spectacular. And I'm going to start putting it out now. If you're making that quilt, or you sign up to be a member of the quilt show right now, that goes away at the end of the year, and we usher in the new block of the month for 2022. So download it, go do it, print it out, whatever. Understand it's going to um, understand it's going to go away. Robin from Ohio, you have said 3 blocks of the month. The one behind you. What are the other 2 for next year? You get 3 if you join right now. You get Color My World, which will go away at the end of this year. And then also we have Janet Stone's ABC that we've licensed through March or April of next year. So when we tell you to go grab it, we're talking go grab it. Make it your to-do list, okay? Does that answer your question, Robin? I hope. All right, and then last but not least, we have Sandra's, and she says she's never done a quilt-along before, so this was new for her. It's smashing. That is just a smashing, smashing sampler of what we just went through. So let's go meet up with Kestrel Michaud, okay? Oh, I want to say before we meet her, we were supposed to get this interview at Houston with her, and I have not seen anything like this in the quilting world. She's steampunk, and how she goes about this is amazing. I am ever so impressed with what she is doing. Let's take a look-see. Well, hello, Kestrel.
Hi, Alex. Thanks for having me today.
It's my pleasure. Now I'm gonna slaughter your last name because I've just Kestrel Macaw.
Michaud,
Michelle.
actually.
Is that French? I'm sorry. What
It
is
is
it French?
French.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I asked her 30 seconds, and that's where my brain is with all that. Now, we have not met before, and you won a huge prize at Houston.
Yes.
Tell us.
Very excited. I started crying when I got the phone call.
So it's eQuilters. That's who's funding the money, and it's the Master Award for Contemporary Artistry.
Yes,
And the name of the quilt is Leap of Faith.
that's right.
Okay, well, we're going to look at it, and I have to tell you, first of all, thank you for the images that you sent. They're great. I gasped when I saw the quilt. I've never seen anything like it. Okay.
Well, thank you very much because you see quite a few
I
quilts.
see a lot of quilts, and I'm going to cliffhang it a little bit. What is your background before we can take a look see at the quilt?
So I have a history of fine art training. I started working with fabric as an art form when I was oh gosh, a junior in high school.
Okay.
So this was 2005, and I didn't know about quilting at the time. So I was fusing my pictures together and then framing them, but there was no stitching.
So you were working with cloth, though?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And
I was working with store-bought fabrics from Joann's because I didn't even know that quilt shops existed.
so was there any traditional quilting in your family background? Like, what made you go to cloth?
No. I saw a presentation at my local art league of an art fabric artist,
Uh-huh.
but she repaired sewing machines, but she wasn't a quilter. So it was I just like completely missed the boat on that. But I saw her hour-long presentation, thought it looked fun, and tried it and was completely hooked.
Well, yeah, but okay, everybody, take a breath because again, this is so fabulous and completely off the quilting chart. Would you not say?
Yeah, it was a breath of fresh air to see it hanging on my wall for quite a
Here we
while.
go. Look at that. I okay, tell us about this because you had to have had some painting in there too, right?
So this is actually the template. This is the digital artwork, not the actual quilt.
Okay.
So for all of my pictures, I make a digital template that's like my pattern. It's full color, full size vector artwork in Adobe Illustrator. And you mentioned painting. Her skin tones were digital drawings that I did on my iPad in an app called Procreate, and then printed through Spoonflower for the finished quilt. So the finished quilt is 100% fused applique. Every solid area that you're seeing in this artwork is a cut piece of fabric in the finished quilt. And if I recall correctly, it has a little over 1,500 individual pieces of fabric. But that's the name of the girl. So, the title of the quilt is a
Leap
kind
of
of a pun.
faith. Yeah. And
Leap of
it's
faith, right? Her
55,
face
50.
and arms and fingers were digital drawings that I printed through Spoonflower and then fused into the quilt.
Okay, so let's take a look at I love that you documented this, okay? So here, talk about this.
So this is when I make that digital template, in the process of designing the overlap for each of my pieces of fabric, I give all of them a number, which is how I know that there are over 1,500 pieces in this quilt. So what you're seeing on the left is the template with all of the numbers for Faith and her goggles. And on the right are all of my art boards that are about 12 inches wide by 24 inches tall, that are arranged by, the pieces are ordered by color. And in Illustrator, I'll export each of those artboards as a single SVG file that I'll then cut with my Cricut cutting machine.
And I can say you are much younger than me. I wouldn't even know how to go about that. Okay, so here we go.
So to prevent fraying, because that's something you really have to worry about when using a cutting machine, to prevent fraying, I treat all of my fabric with a diluted Mod Podge solution. So that's what I'm doing in this photo. All of my fabric swatches are backed with Wonder Under, which is my fusible of choice, and I'm evenly distributing diluted Mod Podge so that they can
Are you
dry. And then,
you're saying Mod Podge?
yes, Mod Podge.
Have you ever thought of using other textile things, or why Mod Podge? I mean, Mod Podge. I mean, I know what you're saying, but how did you
Yes.
come to that?
So I've tried Fray Check, I've triedTerial Magic, I've tried Fray Stop. Um, there might have been one or two others in there. I was initially trying to use a textile product to prevent fraying,
Okay.
and all of them had downsides.
Oh,
So Fray Check, you can only buy it in these tiny little bottles. It works great, but you're tiny. Fray Stop was an aerosol, so you would spray it out of a can onto the fabric, and then it actually worked okay as well, but it was sticking to my iron, like it was making a gummy surface on my iron.
yeah.
So that wasn't great. Material Magic worked really well, but it's kind of expensive in comparison to Mod Podge, and it was also having a weird interaction with my Wonder Under. Like the
Huh.
Wonder Under didn't want to stick to the fabric,
Mm-hmm.
which is also not great.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally tried Mod Podge and practiced with different dilutions of it, and until I came to the 3-to-1 ratio that I use today.
Okay.
And it is pennies per ounce after it's diluted. I think it comes to like 7 cents an ounce.
How
And so
like to put a needle through it, is that an issue?
I wouldn't hand sew with it,
Oh,
but I don't have any problem
okay.
quilting over it.
Okay. So here we now you're working on your Cricut, right?
Yes. So this is a close-up of the sticky mat, and I've just peeled back some of the fabric to show how clean the cuts are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
So these were some of the trees.
and of course, then you're digitizing the cutter, right? To get it to get the things you want.
Yes, that's the whole reason I start with the template in Adobe Illustrator, and that second image that you showed with all of the white rectangles on the
Right.
side. This one, yes, exactly.
Okay.
My cutting machine cut every single one of those pieces of fabric.
Then you've got the world's biggest jigsaw puzzle on the face of the earth. right?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
So I take that digital template that I design in Illustrator and I remove all the color from it and then print it on a blueprint printer at my local FedEx. So I print it full size and it has all the numbers right on there. And I use the numbers to match where the pieces go. It's a gigantic applique by number essentially, and just line them up. And then that shiny surface that's there, that's a nonstick Teflon sheet.
of
So
course,
it,
right, right. Okay. And then this is paramount, and I've actually done this before on quilts of mine. Explain the tool.
So the tulle is that, for those of you not familiar, tulle is a very lightweight netting and it's bunched up in the center of the picture there. And I have a single layer of light blue tulle that's spread over the entire background of this quilt. Not the sky, not Faith or her selfie stick or anything. It's just the trees and the rocky shore and the water. And I did that single layer of tulle to simulate atmospheric perspective. It helps very subtly push the scenery away from Faith herself. And you can see the very subtle difference here. On the right, on the left side of the picture, there's no tulle, and on the
Mhm.
right side of the picture is the single layer. It's very subtle, but it helped significantly.
Boy, that is, I didn't notice that till you just said it, and I can see it. Now, then you didn't do the tool on Faith and or the sky. You just let it go.
Correct.
Okay. And it looks like you stitched down all the raw edges and then quilted it to pieces, or did you quilt it first? And then how did you do that?
I
Come to think of it.
all of the quilting is on top of the tulle. So
Okay.
there, it's a little bit hard to see, but I used a heat erase white marker pen
Uh-huh.
and traced the edges of all of the dark pieces of fabric.
Okay.
And then that way I could see where the outline was under when it was under the tool. Because when I first started, I was really struggling. So then I went and outlined it the rest of the picture.
But wait a
And
minute. Let's
it's
hold on. I don't mean to interrupt, but now I want you to
no,
go up to the pink, the sky. And I'm looking at those clouds. Those have not, I mean, that's just background stitching, isn't it? Quilting?
yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the clouds you can't see, but the clouds are all stitched at this point. I stitched the whole sky before the front, the scenery even went in the picture.
I gotcha. Okay, that's what I was wondering because I'm like going, oh my gosh. So no, you stitched, you quilted it, then you added it to it. Okay.
Then I added the scenery,
Yeah.
um, put the tool down before I quilted it, and then used an X-Acto knife to precision cut around all of the trees.
Okay, and then look at you. Okay, talk about this.
So at the time, I had my eyes on a long arm or a mid arm machine, but I did not yet own one. So
Uh-huh.
this quilt was sewn on my Bernina 790 domestic,
Oh.
and it's significantly bigger than the 10-inch throat of my machine. So to say it was rolled up quite a bit to shove through the neck was an understatement, as you can see.
So let me ask you something. As you roll it there, it's probably has more of an attitude than if you were scrunching a quilt in, right?
Yes,
Hence the rolling.
hence the rolling.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I end up the fused applique nature of my designs cause them to be fairly thick in places.
Mhm.
And so I wouldn't want to scrunch it because the rolling tends to keep it smoother and I don't end up with weird wrinkles at the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So is this like the first, okay, is this the first quilt you've ever entered? I mean, what's because it's so different. I love it.
So this was the second year that I entered Houston.
Hmm.
The first year was in 2019. I submitted it was Brewing Friendship, the horses pulling the beer wagon, and I won first place in the Animal Kingdom category.
I remember that quilt.
that
I do.
was me. That was me.
Okay. Now you kind of are steampunky, right?
Very much so, as you
Okay.
can.
So you talk about her. Talk about her. That you read my mind.
Yes, so that's Rose. She was my first steampunk character. I sewed her before Leap of Faith, although I had the idea for Leap of Faith first.
Hmm.
I ended up making Rose first, and she's steampunk is my jam, man. I love fantasy. I love the quirky nature of steampunk, of inventing something that couldn't possibly exist but looks like it does. The It's just a very fun subgenre of fantasy. So
Okay, so are you in cosplay big time?
I'm not into cosplay, but lots of video games, lots of Dungeons and Dragons. I have gone to steampunk conventions. Yes.
Ricky is going to love this interview because he loves all that the fantasy that's so great that it's like it's real,
Mhm.
you know? So are you
Yes.
are you going to go to Houston?
Yes.
Are
I
you
will
going
be at Houston. You'll be there?
to No, no.
No, no.
No, I was supposed to go to Market and then that all fell apart. So
Oh,
but
yes.
so
It's a
see,
weird
so
year.
yeah. So this is what's going on is what was supposed to happen is that Lilo and Mary Kay I was gonna go to market. Lilo and Mary Kay were gonna get interviews with you, and then the whole thing fell apart. And we said, well, so what? We have technology. And honestly,
Yeah.
we're probably getting a better interview here because we can pop up the pictures and take a look-see at the whole thing.
Yeah. You get to see all the process photos.
Mhm. So are you working on something amazing right now?
Oh, well, I just finished what's behind me in Friday.
Okay, tell it. Oh, go the other way. Go the. Oh my God. Oh, oh, tell us
So I
about this.
finished this Friday because that was the deadline for Road to California. So
Oh my God.
I submitted it just under the wire.
So, are you on the teaching and lecturing circuit and all that good stuff?
Sort of.
Oh,
I'm a little bit unconventional with my teaching. I have given presentations in person before, especially to SACWA organizations, but most of my teaching these days is through Patreon, which, for those of you not familiar with Patreon, it's sort of a crowd-funded patronage of the arts. Basically, you subscribe to me and you have access to every video that I release. I put out one new video a month. I do a hosted 2 hour live stream where I broadcast myself doing some part of my quilting process each month. And when you subscribe, you get access to the complete history of everything I've ever uploaded, which, as
that's
of this month, is 7 months of the process of how I do my artwork.
now. Okay, how do we find that? Because I had not heard of that before, and I think it sounds really cool. So, how does
So
somebody find you?
patreon.com, patreon.com
Okay.
slash Kestrel Michaud.
Spell it. Kes.
KESTRELMICHAUD.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much for taking your time to be with us. And you are somebody I'm going to be stalking just a little bit, but not in a creepy way. Okay.
That's all right. The
Okay.
more followers, the better.
Okay. Sounds good. Hey, have a good day, rest of it. And I'll see you around the quilt hall somewhere.
Sounds good. Thank you, Alex.
Okay. Bye bye. Thank you. I didn't even know the right questions to ask, okay? Because this is so out of my paradigm. And to me, this is what makes quilting so exciting. I I couldn't even imagine that. And here we have Kestrel that's bringing something to the table that is so unique, so different, just amazing. So, Kestrel, thank you so much for taking out time to be with me. And I promise if I meet you, I won't ask if your dog smells. Amazing, just amazing. Whew, I'll take a breath with that. I mean, how many of you, is this like something you have never even seen before? Okay. Anyways, you're getting the point. She knocked my socks off. Okay. So we had some questions that I was taking note of. And so behind me, yes, that's 2022 TQS Block of the Month. All right. Um, it is by Irene Blank. I'm doing a blank right here. And it's called Garden Party Down Under. Now, the other one is Color My World, that if you join right now, you got to download it. and get it on your computer now or print it out. It will be gone December 31st. The other one is Janet Stone's A to Z for you and me, EWE. Last Monday, I wrote it down, the 22nd, I did an interview with Janet, and it is in there. Also, the quilt is in there. Also, if you just go to the website and search it, it will come up. It is adorable. And that will be around, like, again, through March or April. And then let's see, Abilene, you were asking, how do you know when it's time to renew? When you log onto the site, on the upper right-hand side, it will have your name, and right under it, it's called dashboard or profile or something like that. You can get in there and see where you are for when it's time to renew, okay? All right. All right. Well, the videos will be gone. She's amazing, yeah. I mean, I don't even understand how she thinks, and I've been through it twice now. I mean, I get it, but as soon as you get into those 10,000 pieces that have to be in order, you've lost me. So, wait, here comes John. What?
Videos don't go away.
Oh, the videos do for the block of the months?
Right.
Okay.
They do stuff. Pattern.
The pattern goes away at the end of the
All
time,
this teaching.
but all the teaching we leave there because it's so phenomenal. It's so phenomenal. Even like Barbara Black, who's going to be doing her thing on Friday to wrap up this year's. So, what's happening on Wednesday? It's
This may surprise
wait, come in here. I don't want to do the repeat deal.
Okay.
Did you shave?
No.
Okay.
So we keep all the videos up because apparently there's
Yeah.
one or two of you who have not finished the block of the month this year yet. So we do keep up the instructions.
One or two?
Yeah,
What's wrong with
it's
these
not
people?
bad.
So, on Wednesday, it's everything you wanted to ask about, but were afraid to, the 2022 BOM. And so on Wednesday, hopefully Kristen can be here with me because she is having to go to jury duty. But if not, we're going to tell you everything you need to know about this next year's BOM, which, by the way, my granddaughter walked in yesterday and almost lost her mind over it. And she is only 6 years old. She thought I made it. And in full disclosure, I had to tell her I didn't. But then she asked me, what's your favorite part? And et cetera, et cetera. And so, anyways, that's going to be Wednesday. And let's see. Oh, Josephine, you're the one person that's not finished yet. The one. I'm going to shame you. And Donna's still working on spinning spools. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'm actually going to go out to work right now and see the kit. I have not seen the kit up close, and I will tell you all about that. Everything you wanted to know, but we're afraid to ask. If you do have questions that you want to make sure I hit, go to email me. Please don't leave it on Facebook. Email me at alexandrsn@gmail. So as we go into the holiday season, happy Hanukkah, Christmas is around the corner, Kwanzaa. Look for gratitude everywhere you can. I think that when I saw thank you written in the sand by I don't know who, they left me a message that is so pure and so kind and so wonderful, and it completely hit my heart. To me, to you, I say thank you.